So is Scrivener a decent writing app for authors? Hello, I'm Michael with WriterSanctuary, and if you don't know, I've been working on the Despair audiobook series on YouTube on Creative Sanctuary's channel. It's the book that I've been writing that's also on Wattpad, in case you're curious. Anyway, I decided to give Scrivener a shot while writing its manuscript. So what have I come across so far? Actually, the first thing I want to point out is that its 30-day free trial is exactly that, 30 days. It's only counting the days that you actually launch the app. So theoretically, you can open it once a month for 30 months, and it'll still be a free trial. Hell, I've had Scrivener 3 installed on my computer for about 2 years now, and I'm still with about 17 days left, though I have used it quite a bit in the last couple of weeks. Still, the 30-day free trial is kind of neat, and it's something that's quite unique. I don't think I've come across any app that has anything similar to it. Secondly, it's decently priced at $60, and that $60 is a lifetime license. That is, unless they come up with a new version of it later on, but even then, you can get a free upgrade from Scrivener 2 to Scrivener 3, so they'd probably do something similar later on down the road. The $60 for a full-fledged writing app is actually fairly good, especially with all the stuff that's in Scrivener. So let's take a closer look at what's actually in the app. Now this view is of Scrivener 3, and it's, as you can see, the next episode of Despair that I'm working on. The first thing I'd like to point out is how you have different themes that you can set. Like this one here is set to a dark gray theme, mostly because I work at night, and the white screen before was just too much for my eyes, so I decided to change it. And all you gotta do is go to the window, go to themes, and then select the theme that you want to use. And it looks like you can add more if you can find some, but I like the gray matter dark. That's what I'm using here, and it works perfectly for writing in the dark. Now normally I don't like to write in the dark, but late at night and I have crap lighting in my room, having the gray screen is quite an improvement. I don't have nearly the headaches when I'm writing. Something else I'd like to point out is that how Scrivener has a lot of different templates you can use for different types of writing. You can set up with a blank document, or you can choose from fiction, nonfiction, script writing, miscellaneous stuff, general nonfiction, a paper, a research proposal. There's a lot of different templates in Scrivener that'll help you write pretty much anything you want. Poems, recipe collections, persuasive lecture. And Scrivener 3 has everything but the kitchen sink. And one of my other favorite abilities that Scrivener has, and this is something it's kind of cool, but then it also has a bit of a drawback, is how you can research words and phrases online directly from Scrivener. So like if I was to highlight this right here, this line here, okay, and I right click it, I can go up to writing tools and then select look it up in Google definitions, search in Google, Wikipedia, dictionary.com, thesaurus.com, and brainyquotes.com. And all of these will open up a new window researching whatever you highlighted. So that's kind of cool, especially if you're trying to find different words instead of using the same word over and over and over. It's sometimes you can find a better synonym, or if you're looking up a definition of a specific word that you're not too sure about. And personally, I have Google open on my second monitor on a regular basis when I'm writing anything. Now the downside to this, like I said, is that it'll open up a new tab with every single search. And if you're like me, that could easily fill up a browser. But it is kind of a handy tool. So another aspect that I like about Scrivener is that you can create your characters, places, and things quite easily and then reference them later on in your book. So like if I wanted to make a new character, I could right click this, add a new one, say a new text. We'll say this is Bob. And then I can put in all of Bob's information here, or I can use Scrivener's little slider thing. I've got two different windows open, and I can put in Bob's details, and then I can go over to the other screen and write what I want while still having the second one open for reference. So like keeping track of stuff. And for me, keeping track of extra stuff like that is exponentially helpful, especially considering how old I'm getting and my memory's not as good as it used to be. I mean, I have misspelled the same character's name throughout the entire book, and I recently fixed it, but yeah. So at any time I just glance over it. In fact, when I'm working on Despair, I will have all the characters on a sheet open on the other pane. That way I can keep track of who's doing what and where and how old they are and all that other good junk. So it's just extremely helpful. Unfortunately, Scrivener doesn't copy and paste very well to other platforms, and vice versa. Like when I first started moving Despair over into Scrivener from Google Docs, the formatting was all jacked up. I had to go through and fix every paragraph. It was a mess. And then copying it from Scrivener to Wattpad was another bit of a fine mess. It jumbled the entire thing into one massive block of text, and I did figure out how to fix that, and that's by pasting as text into Wattpad so that boom, it comes out perfectly formatted for Wattpad itself. But yeah, if you're copying and pasting from anything into Scrivener or from Scrivener into anything else, if you can do it as plain text, it's ideal. Otherwise, it's going to jack it up. One aspect I love about Scrivener is being able to see your progress and look at goals. And to do that, we go over to Project. From here we can click on Project Targets, Statistics, or Writing History. And they're not nearly as robust as something like Readsy, but it still shows you the basic information. So like Project Targets would work on how many words you want to write in your entire manuscript. Like if you want to set a goal of 85,000 words, then Readsy will show you how far along you are in that. If you wanted to do a session target, so like if you wanted to write once a day, you can set your target for like 1,500 words and it'll show you a percentage of that every time you write. Your statistics will show you how many words and characters you have in your book, paragraphs, sentences, the average paragraph length, average sentence length, documents that are in your folder, average document length, the longest document, shortest document, how many pages you would have in a paperback, which is kind of useful, and the approximate reading time. Now, if we go to writing history, it'll show us how many words we've written elsewhere throughout the average per day, minimum, maximum in a day, months and days throughout the year. So I'm looking at this, and I've had Scrivener installed since August of 2019. And I've done 14 writing days. Now, although this window will stay open as you're writing, I wish it was more built into the platform so I didn't have that extra little box hanging around. So I guess you can move that box anywhere, so it's not really that impactful. But I think it'd just be kind of neat if it had it somewhere on the desktop of Scrivener itself. Still, it has goals and keeps track of your progress, so that's a definite bonus for me. Something else that's kind of nifty is the research area. You can add all kinds of research for your book right here, so it's all located in one spot. That means no more having to create bookmarks. You can just create pretty much anything you want in that research. You can put a page with links. You can put web pages there. So all the research for this specific book will be stored with this specific file in Scrivener. It just helps keep things organized and cleaned up. And like I pointed out before, another thing I like about Scrivener is being able to have both windows open at the same time. The multi-window view is awesome. I wish all writing apps did this, but they don't. That way I can keep my writing on one screen, all the research and junk on the other, and you can cycle through and choose what page you want on that second screen. It's just incredibly useful, especially when you have a crap memory like mine. And lastly, something I came across that I'm totally in love with is its ability to export and save in a variety of file types. Because sometimes you'll come across writing apps that'll only export in like EPUB, MOBI, or PDFs. Scrivener is across the entire spectrum. So like say, if I wanted to export this, I would go to Export, and I could go to Files. And then from the File window, I can choose Rich Text, .doc.x, XPS, ODT, HTML, FTX, Fountain, Text, MD files. And all of that is kind of handy when you have somebody who's editing your work. That way you can create an RTF, a docx, or even a text file and send it to somebody and say, hey, can you take a look at this? And they can send it back and copy and paste it back into Scrivener. But be careful because, like I said, copying and pasting into Scrivener is kind of a pain in the ass. Still, it is kind of cool that you can export in so many different file types. But what about compiling an ebook? Scrivener allows you to compile an ebook in a variety of different things. So you can compile it for print, rich text, docx, doc files, ODTs, text, HTML, FTX, Fountain, EPUBs, MOBIs, multi-markdown, latex, open office, web pages, flat XML, PDF. You can also choose the different types of formats you want to export in. You can select what parts of the book you want to leave out if you don't want certain things to show up in your manuscript. So compiling your ebook or print book is incredibly more flexible in Scrivener than a lot of other apps I've used, especially when you consider against Kindle Create, which is a pain in the ass in its own right. Now, as you can see, there is quite a bit to Scrivener, and it can seem daunting and overwhelming. However, once you learn where everything's at and how to structure the entire book, it's not too bad. I actually kind of like it. Would I suggest trying it for yourself? Absolutely. It's not overly difficult to use once you learn where all the things are. It takes a little bit of exploration, which is probably why Scrivener stuck with the 30-day free trial as being 30 days, 30 usable days. But one of my favorite aspects of Scrivener is that it's not a subscription-based service. I hate software as a service, and I think monthly subscriptions are part of what's ruining this planet. But Scrivener is a flat $60 fee for a lifetime license, so it's actually decently priced compared to a lot of other ones that are out there. Plus, I love being able to set goals and watch my progress as I write. Not every writing app has that aspect either. There you have it. That is Scrivener in a nutshell. There's quite a bit to it. I'm thinking about doing some more videos on how to set everything up, including how to start a whole book from scratch. So anyway, what kind of writing app do you like most? So right now, my two favorites are definitely Reedsy and Scrivener. I'm not exactly sure which one I like more. I do like the aspect of Scrivener being offline, but I do like how Reedsy has its goals and its writing set up. So it's really close to being a toss-up. I might have to break it down into several different points to figure out which one I like more, because they're pretty close. Reedsy would probably get a leg up only because it's completely free, but Scrivener has so much more to it. Anywho, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. For more videos about self-publishing, freelance writing, or blogging, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. I think it's going to do it for me today. It's going to take me forever to edit this video. I'll see you next time.